विघ्नोपशान्तये रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम् अञ्जनानन्दनं वीरं जानकी शोकनाशनं कपीशमक्षहन्तारं वन्दे लङ्काभयङ्करं नमोऽस्तु रामाय सलक्ष्मणाय देव्यै च तस्यै जनकात्मजायै नमोऽस्तु रुद्रेन्द्रयमानिलेभ्यो नमोऽस्तु चन्द्रार्कमरुद्गणेभ्यः। ॐ नमः परमहंसास्वादितचरणकमलचिन्मकरन्दाय भक्तजनमानसनिवासाय श्रीरामचन्द्राय ॐ. So, in the last session we finished fourth sarga. We have to start with fifth sarga, but I had to make some comments regarding the penultimate shloka in the fourth sarga, the 35th shloka. Imau muni parthiva lakshananvitau kushīlavau chaiva mahatapasvinau mamapi tadbhutikaram prachakshate mahanubhavam charitam nibodhata. So Rama is telling the assembled people in his court, Lakshmana and others, that these two kids, Kusha and Lava, they are going to now recite a great story, which even adds even mamapi tad bhutikaram prachakshate. So it adds some glory even to me. Such kind of story you can say. So that story all of you listen. So mahanubhavam charitam nibodhata. So that story with great sentiment, that kind of story all of you listen. So he's also sitting on the throne and he's telling, he's commanding, or he's suggesting everybody else also to listen to that story. Now here this question comes up that Ramayana being a Kavya, so in Kavya there are these characters, and then this Rama is the Nayaka of the Kavya, and then in Kavyas is Nayaka, Lakshanas, Nayaki, Lakshanas, such things are there. In Nayakas, Lakshanas, so in Prataparudriyam and such texts you find that there are some qualities of different kinds of Nayakas. Rama is called a Dhirodatta Nayaka. Dhirodatta Nayaka is so they have some kind of descriptions to that. So Avikkathanaha Kshamavan Atigambhiraha Mahasatvaha Stheyan Nigudhamanaha Dhirodattaha Dridhavratah Kathitaha. So this is the definition of Dhirodatta. What is important to us is Avikkathanaha. Avikkathanaha is somebody who, this is the quality of the Dhirodatta Purusha, that he does not listen to his own praise and things like, he doesn't get flattered. So that's the intention, he doesn't listen to his own praise and things like that. So if this, in this Kavya, Rama is the Nayaka and Rama is described, so if you see other qualities of Rama, it fits into what I have just read. So he is a Dhirodatta Purusha. Then how can you say that such a Rama who does not listen to his own praise, how did he sit and listen to his story, and then he made others also listen to that story, and then also so you should not listen to your own glory. Such kind of statements are there. So I'm trying to find out, so trying to locate that anyway. So your own so your own glories you should not listen to. So such things are there. So self glorification is the highest sin, they say. So if you listen to your own praise, some papa will be accumulated and things like that, they say. So how did Rama also say such things? So this is, so how did he say, let us all listen, I will also listen, you people also listen? How did he say? So Govinda Raja has a particular kind of answer to make, and then of course not Tilakakara, but Shiromani Kara has a particular, I mean, he mentions Govinda Raja's explanation, and he says such an explanation is not required. So Govinda Raja says that he is not listening to it as his own story, he is listening to it as Sita's story, because earlier also it has been said, Kavyam Ramayanam Kritsnam Sitayas Charitam Mahat. So this Ramayana Katha is Sita's Katha. In fact, that's how Bhaktas also believe. So indeed it is Sita's Katha and not Rama's Katha so much. It's so much Sita's Katha as it is not so much Rama's Katha. So Sita's glory is brought out, which is true. Sita's glory is brought out in this epic, in this what should I say, in this Kavya, and more so in Sundarakanda we will see that Sita's glory. So even Rama might have a look at Lanka and see, oh, this Lanka is very beautiful, but Sita is always closing her eyes, she's not even looking at things around. So such kind of descriptions come. So that glory of Sita is there. And then they say also, because Sita was staying in Valmiki's ashrama, so Valmiki knew that Sita was a very very pious and very pure lady, but then people have made allegations against her. So that disturbance was always there in Valmiki's heart. They say that he wanted to somehow prove to this world that Sita Devi is blemishless. So because of that, he wrote this Ramayana. They say like that. So therefore, this Ramayana is so much Sita's story, Sitaya's Charitam. Therefore, Rama heard it as Sita's Charitam and not his own Charitam. And then why did he listen to it as Sita's Charitam also? Because he was separated by his wife. So if you take this Uttarakhanda story to be true, then Sita Devi was by then, what should I say, banished or exterminated, whatever. So she was sent to Valmiki's, she was sent to the forest and she stayed in Valmiki's ashrama. So Rama was having this pangs of separation. Viraha was there. So to quench that Viraha, if you listen to the beloved story, then your Viraha comes down, they say. So therefore he was listening. So this is what Govindaraja says, which is nice. I mean, it's okay. That explanation is very nice. But Shiromani Kara says you need not go that far and say that you need not go so far and say Rama heard it as Sita's story and things like that. In fact, Shiromani Kara disagrees by saying but that this is predominantly Sita's Katha. He says no, it's Rama's Katha and Sita's Katha. And then he also raises the issue, see, even if you say it is predominantly Sita's Katha, but in Sita's Katha, Rama will be there. It's not like Sita is an individual person and her story is there. So in Sita's Katha also, Rama will be there. So it's still the problem that you raise still remains. So he's an Avik Kathanaha, then how can he listen to his story? Such problems remain. So Shiromani Kara is telling that this quality is there in Prakrita Purushas. In a person like Rama, such quality of being flattered by listening to his praises, such quality is not there in Rama. That mana doesn't build up, that whatever pride does not build up. Govindaraja says even a Kshudra is a ordinary simple man, so he also does not listen to his praise. He has some some, what should I say, some shyness in listening to your own story. How can Rama listen? That's the point that Govindaraja raises. Shiromani Kara says it's okay. In Prakrita Purushas, that is there, but Rama is an Avatara Purusha and he does not have. In fact, in Vishnu Sahasranama, they say Amani Manado Manyaha. So he's an Amani. He does not have any. He does not have an ego and things like that. So in Avatara Purushas, they say there is no ego at all in them in Avatara Purushas. So it's okay. You can say that because he's an Avatara Purusha. He's not a Prakrita Purusha. Anyway, this I thought I will tell. I could not finish it in the previous session because of time constraint. So now we will start with Panchama Sarga. Panchama Sarga. So what is happening now is in the last, so 4 sargas have gone. So in the last 3 sargas, so Grantha, so Grantha Kartru, the Kartru Vailakshanyam, Prabandha Vailakshanyam and Vishaya Vailakshanyam. 3 things were discussed and now the story proper is starting. Now Valmiki is actually narrating the Ramayana story. So far you can take it like a preface to what is coming and now is the actual story starting. And how is he starting? You should imagine as though Valmiki is a nice director of a movie. He is now showing you Shabda Chitram. He is describing his epic, his poem, and then he's starting with how a movie starts, a general. So when movie opens, the opening scene, they say the opening scene is people are very happy, moving about, buses are moving, people are moving, cars are moving, everybody is happy, people are going and buying things in the shop. Is exactly how Valmiki starts his kavya. So he starts with the general description of Ayodhya, and the next sarga he gives a little more specific description, and the sarga after that he goes into a very specific description of Ayodhya's palace. So from a general picture to a more particular picture to a specific picture he goes. So that is Valmiki's what should I say, craftsmanship as a poet. It brings it comes out. So here it's presenting a general picture, an opening scene of the Ramayana. The opening scene of Ramayana Kavya is a description of the city of Ayodhya. So let us see. Sarva purvamiyam yesham asit kritsna vasundhara prajapati mupadaya nripanam jayashalinam yesham sasagaro nama sagaro ye nakhanitah षष्टिपुत्र सहस्राणि यम्यांतं पर्यवारयन् इक्ष्वाकूणामिदं तेषां राज्ञां वंशे महात्मनां महदुत्पन्नमाख्यानं रामायणमिति श्रुतम्. So sarva purvamiyam, so yam kritsna vasundhara, this the expansive earth, sarva purvam yesham asit. So this expansive earth was once upon a time. So purvam means once upon a time. That's how Valmiki is starting the story, like even we start. So purvam, once upon a time, this entire expansive earth. So it belonged to whom? Yesham sarva vasundhara, kritsna sarva vasundhara yesham purvam. So at once upon a time, to whom this entire earth belonged. So to them. So Prajapati Upadaya Nripanam Jayashalinam. So Nripanam, to which kings this entire earth belonged. So Jayashalinam, victorious kings. Prajapati Upadaya. Prajapati is Manu. So beginning from Manu onward. So Manu is the Vamshakarta of this Raghu Vamsha. So from Surya, Manu, and then Ikshvaku and things like that. So this Manu is the first, what should I say, king of their lineage, you can say. And then Manu is the Prajapati. So Manu, from beginning from Manu onwards, this Nrupanam, Jayashalinam. So in that Vamshe will come later. In that Vamsha, this story happened, he will say. So this entire earth, starting from Manu onwards, belong to which line of kings? And then that line of kings is being glorified. येषां स सगरो नाम सागरो येन खानितः षष्टिपुत्र सहस्राणि यम्यान्तं पर्यवारयन्. So येषां स sagaro nama sagara. So in that lineage, that sagara, in which lineage this great king called Sagara was born, and because of that Sagara, this Sagara was Sagaro yena khanitaha, by whom this Sagara, this ocean, was dug up. So khanitaha means so mined or dug up. So there is the story which comes in Balakanda itself, that Sagara wanted to perform Ashwamedha Yaga, so he let the horse loose, and then for a long time that horse didn't come. So Indra was, what should I say, was skeptic. I mean, he said, if I allow this Ashwamedha Yaga to happen, then maybe this Sagara will take over my seat and things like that. So he will hide the horse and keep it somewhere in Patala Loka or somewhere in Kapila Maharshi's ashrama. So the Sagara will be anxious what happened to the horse. So he will send his 60,000 children he had, they say. So he will send those 60,000 children. They started searching for the horse on entire earth. They didn't find. Then they started digging the earth, it seems, to find the horse. So they start digging up. Once they dig up, they reach up to Patala Loka, they say. And then there they found this horse staying in Kapila's ashram. They thought that Kapila, stole that horse. In fact, Indra came and kept it there. And then they try to harm him. So Kapila then looks at them, and they all turn into ashes. Then this horse doesn't come back. The story is there. I'm just giving you in brief. Then Sagara sends his son, his grandson Amshumanta. So Amshumanta then somehow finds that horse. He brings it back. But then Kapila Maharshi will say, all your, your ancestors, so your father and uncles and all of them. So these people are lying down there as ashes. So if you bring Ganga here to Patala Loka, then Ganga will sweep their ashes and they will get Uttamagati. So because of that idea, so they will think Sagara will try to bring Ganga on earth, then Amshumanta will try, and that also doesn't happen. Ultimately, their descendant Bhagiratha will come and bring the Akasha Ganga to earth, and ultimately that will go to Patala Loka and sweep those ashes, and they all will get Uttam. This is the Uttamagati. This is all the story. So because of this the people who have come in that Vamsha, so Ganga had come here. So because of his 60,000 sons, this Sagara, his 60,000 sons dug up the earth, and because of that, so because it was dug up, so there's some empty space, and that's where Ganga, then it came from earth, it occupied that space, they say. I mean, ultimately Ganga leads into the ocean, so such things. So because Ganga fills the ocean and things like that. So such a kingdom this is. So that great lineage, Ikshvakunam idam. So this Sarva Vasundhara, it belongs to Ikshvakus, to those Ikshvaku kings, Ikshvakunam idam. Tesham Rajnyam Vamshe. So Mahatmanam, Tesham Mahatmanam, of those Mahatmas in that lineage, Rajnya Vamshe, in that royal lineage, Mahadutpannam Akhyanam, this story. So the story was born there. That means the story happened in that lineage, that great lineage of Ikshvakus, where because of which kings even Sagara was formed. So the ocean was formed because these people dug up the earth and things like that. In that story, this Ramayanam, Mahadutpannam Akhyanam, this great story of Ramayana happened. Iti Shrutam, thus they say. So they are saying. So you can say Sarvapurvam Ramayanam. So Sarvapurvam Ramayanam means earlier, before this, there is no other poem. This is the first kind of poem. Such an interpretation also you can give. And then I think Shiromani Kara is telling, so Ramayana was born in this lineage. How can you say Rama was born in this lineage? But if you're saying Ramayana was born, so it shows that between the story of, what should I say, the story of Bhagavan and Bhagavan itself are non-different. So in Bhagavatam also we see that Krishna will tell Uddhava, I think Uddhava, so in the 11th or Ekadasha Skandha, I think that after I go, so I remain as Bhagavatam only. So Srimad Bhagavatoyam Sakshat Krishna Evahi, there are some shlokas like that. This Bhagavata is Krishna alone. Like that, Ramayana is also Rama alone. That's why Valmiki is also saying Ramayana was born in this kingdom. So it means that Ramayana story happened relating to this family. You can also take it out of bhakti that this Rama was born, and Rama and Ramayana are non-different. So you can say Ramayana itself was born there. Okay, and then tadidam tadidam vartayishyavah sarvam nikhilamaditah dharma kamartha sahitam shrotavyam anasuyata. So tadidam vartayishyavah, that Ramayana, that this Ramayana. So that this means, so this is there in our mind. So they have not yet told, or Valmiki has not yet written. Even only now he is writing the story. So how can you say idam? Idam means that which is in front of you. That which is not yet completed, how can it be in front of you? You can say tat, that. So tad idam means, so that this, which means that it is all there in his buddhi. So it is in his buddhi, therefore it is pratyaksha for him. So it's not like I sit to write a poem and now I start thinking as I'm writing. No, you will construct the entire poem in your head and then you write it down. So in Siddhanta Kaumudi, so Vaiyakarana Siddhanta Kaumudiyam Virajyate. So what is that? Iyam Siddhanta Kaumudi. So Siddhanta Kaumudi has not yet been written. So Varadaraja is not Varadaraja, Bhattoji Dikshita, there he says this Siddhanta Kaumudi I am writing. So if you have not yet written, how can you say this Siddhanta Kaumudi? So the answer is, it's in his Buddhista. So it is in his Buddhi. He has already constructed it in his Buddhi and now he's just writing it down. Like that. So idam, you can say, this is Ramayana which is now Lavakusha are going to recite, or Ramayana which is being written by Valmiki. It's already constructed in the mind and they are just saying it out, or Valmiki is writing it down. So tadidam vartaishyavaha means we will sing, or we will express or expand on that story. We will sing sarvam nikhilam aditaha. Sarvam means, so sarvam means, Lavakushas are telling, sarvam means all that we have been taught, that entire thing we will tell you. We will not miss out on anything. And then nikhilam aditaha. Nikhilam aditaha means from the beginning, and nikhilam means up to the end. So from the beginning till end, entire thing we will tell you without missing anything. Dharma kamartha sahitam. So dharma kamartha sahitam means that which has along with it dharma, kama and artha. What is it? So what is it that has dharma, artha and kama along with it? It is moksha. So dharma, artha, kama sahitam. Dharma kamartha sahita means moksha, dharma, kama and artha. All four you should include. So dharma kamartha sahitam shrotavyam anasuyata. So without any asuya is jealousy or something like that. So without any jealousy you should listen. So what is that jealousy? Is that you should not have they say when you are listening to Leelas of Bhagwan, you should not look into who is saying it, who is talking about the Leela. You should see that he is talking about Bhagwan, whosoever it be. Like you people are listening from me, so whoever most ineligible person, still you should listen because he is talking about Bhagwan. So something like that. So anasuyata, with great shraddha you should listen. That's the meaning. Don't have asuya while listening to it, means listen to it with great shraddha. कोशलो नाम मुदितः स्फीतो जनपदो महान् निविष्टः सरयूतीरे प्रभूत धनधान्यवान्. So कोशलो नाम जनपदो महान्, great kingdom, great janapada means desha, so great kingdom called Koshala. Koshalo nama, so Koshala, so nama, when you say, it means prakhyata, so it's famous by the name Koshala, great kingdom by the name Koshala. So muditaha is, it is well kept, very happily maintained by its king. So all the subjects are very happy, such kind of a kingdom. Spitaha means, I think Spitaha, I think it means it's very nicely expanded and things like that. So Spitaha, yeah, uttarottaram vriddhim praptaha. Spitaha is, that is nice. So subsequent kings are only increasing the territory of Koshala kingdom. So Koshalo nama muditaha sphito janapado mahan janapadaha, great desha, nivishta Sarayu tire. So on the banks of Sarayu, this Koshala kingdom is on the banks of Sarayu river. That means Sarayu river is flowing through in the kingdom of Koshala. It's an expansive kingdom. And then Ayodhya is the capital. He will say next. So in that Ayodhya, Sarayu Nadi is flowing. So Prabhuta Dhana Dhanyavan. So Prabhuta Dhana is wealth and Dhanya is so crop wealth. So crops and wealth are very nicely. So it's so crops grow there and wealth is generated there. That's the meaning. Prabhuta Dhana Dhanyavan means it has great wealth and agricultural wealth also, and which is all born there. That means which is grown in that kingdom. So such a very famous expansive kingdom. Ayodhya nama nagari tatrasil loka vishruta manuna manavendrena yapuri nirmita swayam. So in that kingdom of Koshala there is Ayodhya nama nagari, very famous nagari called Ayodhya. So Ayodhya is very famous as one of the सप्त मोक्षपुरी, सो अयोध्या, माया, मथुरा, काशी, कांची, अवंतिका, पुरी, द्वारावती चैव सप्तै, so mokshadayaka, so saptaite mokshadayaka, something like that. So the sapta mokshapuris are there, and then Ayodhya is one of them. So famous Ayodhya, so mokshapuri, it is famous. So Ayodhya nama nagari, tatra means in that Koshala desha asi lokavishruta. So so it is lokavishruta, it's famous all over the world. It is famous that Ayodhya nagari manuna manavendrena ya puri nirmita swayam, ya puri, which city, swayam manuna manavendrena nirmita. So this puri has been built sakshat by Manu itself. So this kingdom was established, and then he had to build a capital for his kingdom. So Manu himself built this great. So Manu is Manavendra, the best amongst human. He is the first human, or whatever, first Prajapati, and then all of us are his descendants, they say. So Manuna Manavendrena Nirmita Swayam. Then he is giving the length area of Ayodhya Nagari. Ayata Dashachadvecha Yojanani Mahapuri Srimati Trini Vistirna Suvibhakta Mahapatha. So ayata means by length it is. So how many yojanas? Yojana is a measurement, unit of measurement that they used to use at that time. I will come to that. So ayata dashacha dvecha. Dasha means 10 and dve means 2. So dashacha dvecha means 10 plus 2, 12 yojanas in length. Mahapuri, great. I mean, great as in very expansive, a huge city. Srimati Trini Vistirna. Srimati means it has all great dhana and things like that. Trini Vistirna. Vistirna is breadth. So 3. So 3 yojanas is its breadth. 12 yojanas length and 3 yojanas breadth. Suvibhakta Mahapatha. I will come to that. So Trini Vistirna. So length and breadth totally 12 into 3 is 36 square yojanas. So what is a yojana? Roughly yojana is 9 miles. So 12 into 3 into 9, and then each mile is about 1.6 or something kilometers. So if you multiply this 12 into 3 into 9 into 1.6, it comes to around 518 or 520 square kilometers. So that's the area of this Ayodhya. So I compared what is today what is available as Ayodhya Nagari. So in that Ayodhya Nagari is about 79 point something, around 80 square kilometers. So maybe the Ayodhya that we see today is the more smaller version of the original Ayodhya. So original Ayodhya was even much bigger than that. So just to give a comparison, Secunderabad, Hyderabad city is 625 square kilometers. So you can imagine something like that. So this Ayodhya Nagari is 520 square kilometers, a huge Nagari. And then Suvibhakta Mahapatha. So it has these great highways that are around the city and going into the city, which are nicely. So Suvibhakta, you can say like we have roads. In roads you have 2 lanes, 4 lanes and things like that. So very expansive roads are there. राजमार्गेण महता सुविभक्तेन शोभिता मुक्त पुष्पावकीर्णेन जलसिक्तेन नित्यशः. So from a general description of city, now he's going to into more specific. So now just he said there is a city, now he's describing the roads of that city. So Rajamargena Mahata, Rajamarga is so that marga through which usually kings travel. Why is it specifically mentioned? Because those roads have to be big, because they travel in rathas. So those roads should be big enough that rathas can travel, like we have in Delhi. So Rajpath, that road from Rashtrapati Bhavan to India Gate, it's called Rajpath. It used to be called as Kingsway. Then after independence, they renamed it to Rajpath. So something like that. That Rajpath is there, very Mahata Suvibhaktena Shobhita. Mahata Rajamargena Shobhita. That city of Ayodhya is having these Rajamargas. So it's very, big, as in very, very, what should I say? The breadth is very, very large breadth. And then Suvibhaktena Shobhita, so it's nicely divided. So lanes are there. So 2 lanes, 4 lanes, such kind of Rajamarga. And then Mukta Pushpavakirnena Jalasiktena Nityashaha. Nityashaha Shobhita. So that Rajamarga in Ayodhya city. So it's decorated with let's say, so Mukta Pushpavakirnena, so fully blossomed flowers are what should I say, sprinkled here and there on the road. So it's beautified by that. And then Jalasiktena Nityashaha Jalasiktena Shobhita. So water is being constantly sprinkled on that road. So this shows perhaps they were muddy roads, and then if rathas have to pass, that then mud or whatever dust kind of rises. If you put water, then when the ratha goes, and the dust doesn't come up. So it's there. So Jalasiktena Nityashaha Shobhita. Tam tu Raja Dasharatho Maharashtra Vivardhanaha Purimavasayamasa Divi Deva Patiryatha. So Tam tu Raja, so that Raja Tam Purim Dasharatha, that Dasharatha Raja Maharashtra Vivardhanaha. So this Dasharatha is also like his predecessors. He's also somebody who expands his kingdom constantly. So he's expanding his territory. So Purim Avasayamasa. So that Dasharatha in that Puri, Ayodhya Puri, he made it his dwelling place. That means he's living in that Ayodhya Puri. How is he living? Divi Devapatiriyatha. So Valmiki has started giving his upamas. So his simile. So Divi Devapatiriyatha, like Indra stays in heaven, that Dasharatha also made this Ayodhya his capital, and then he's staying there like Indra is staying in the heaven. Now from this Tam Purim, so that Puri, now there's a more specific description of that Puri from here, beginning from here till 18th shloka, I think. So we will see. So Tam tu Raja Dasharatha Maharashtra Dasharatha Maharashtra Vardhanaha Purim Avasayamasa. So this Purim Avasayamasa, Tam Purim Avasayamasa goes up to 18th shloka. So how is that Puri? Kapata Toranavatim Suvibhaktan Tarapanam Sarvayantra Yudhavatim Ushitam Sarvashilpibhihi. So Kapata Toranavati. So Kapata is those huge doors are there, and then Toranas are archways. So huge archways, doors, huge, how will these forts doors will be. So such huge doors are there. And then Suvibhaktan Tarapanam. Apana is a market. So Suvibhaktan Tarapana means the inner. So what should you say? So the inner what should I say, courtyard of the market is very long, expansive. Like if you see Monda market we have here close by. So if you go enter into the lane to the market will be small, but if you go into the market, it has somehow, I mean, better than the lane that goes to the market. It's a little more expansive. So this is also like that. Suvibhakta Suvibhaktantarapana. So the inner courtyards of the market are very huge and expansive. So very, what should I say, vast and things like that. So now Valmiki is describing some activity. So he's describing marketplace and things like that. Sarva yantra yudhavatim. So all great machines, yantras are there in that Ayodhya. And then Ushitam sarva shilpibhihi. Shilpis are so craftsmen. So all these craftsmen have made Ayodhya as their residence. That shows that perhaps there was great what should I say, support for these crafts and things like that, which we will see in subsequent sargas. This support for crafts was there in Dasharatha's time. In those days, in general, kings used to promote these things. सूतमागध संबाधाम श्रीमतीम अतुलप्रभाम उच्चाटालध्वजवतीम शतघ्नीशतसंकुलाम. So सूतमागध संबाधाम. So there are these Sutas and Magadas are staying in that city. And then who are these Sutas? Sutas are Stutipathakaha. So these Sutas are people who praise the king. So they keep praising this particular king, they keep praising. And then Magadas are, they praise the Vamsha of this king. So Vamshavali Kathakaha, though they praise the what should I say, the lineage of this king. So even today you can see in Telangana there are particular what should I say, castes or some kind of groups of people who their occupation. So these are an occupational groups of people whose. So if you go to this particular person, they will say our occupation is to sing praises of a particular caste. And then there will be other people, they will say our occupation is to sing praises of particular caste. So Magadas are like that. They will sing the glories of particular lineages. So they will sing the glory of only that lineage and not other lineage. So such people are there even now. Even there, they are there even now, means it's all slowly going away. But in 2014 or 15, whenever Telangana was formed, and subsequently this government started, they wanted to make an exhibition of these people, and they made. So these local talents of Telangana. Anyway, so Suta Magadha Sambadham, Shrimatim is, it has great wealth, and then you can say it's also shining greatly, that Ayodhya city. Atula Prabham, so Atula Prabha is it's shining, incomparably shining. And then Shrimati it has great wealth. Because of that great wealth, it is shining. That means it has great fame for the wealth that it possesses. Uchatala Dhvajavatim. So Attala is the rooftops. So they are, so those rooftops are having these flags on top of them. So Uchatala Dhvajavatim. So these long flags are there on the rooftops itself are very long. He will say 7 floors are there, it seems, in houses in Ayodhya. So then you can imagine the house itself will be very long, and on top of that there are these dhwaja. So dhwaja is a flag. So those buildings, the rooftops are having these flags on top of them. Even now you can see in North India, it's very common, especially in UP, Bihar and areas like that. People have these flags on top of their houses. So they have these saffron flags on top of their houses. So Shatagni Shatasankulam. So Shatagni is a particular kind of uh, weaponry, so yantra, that at one through, I mean, through one, what should I say, at once it can release 100 arrows. So Shatagni. So at one shot it can kill 100 people. How will it kill 100 people? By shooting 100 arrows at one shot. So Shatagni Shatasankulam. So on the, what should I say, on the fort's walls, these 100 such Shatagnis are there. So it's kept at strategic places. Shatagnis are, there are 100 such Shatagnis kept on various places in the fort there. So I happened to see a guided tour of Srirangapatna Fort. I didn't actually go there, but I saw a video on YouTube. So the guided, whatever the guide shows, that on the fort walls of the Srirangapatna Fort, there is a particular mechanism where you can keep 3 guns, and at the same time you can operate 3 guns. So, and he says that tour, or whatever the guide says, that this is French technology. At once you can operate 3 guns, but see, this is Indian technology, where at once you can kill 100 people, 100 arrows. So those days arrows was there, gunpowder was not yet whatever discovered or invented. So arrows were there, so at once it can kill 100 people. Such kind of a yantra, Shatagni, and such 100 such yantras are there on the fort walls. And then Vadhunataka Sanghaischa Sanyuktam Sarvatah Purim Udyanamra Manopetam Mahatim Salamekhalam. So Vadhu Nataka Sangha. So this Vadhu means women. So generally women. So Vadhu Nataka Sangha are there. So these Nataka is, so these theaters and things. So theater, what should I say, ballet, plays, such things. So these troops are there. Theatrical troops are there. So women perform in those theatrical troops, and those theaters are there here and there in the city of Ayodhya. Vadhu Nataka Sanghaischa Sanyuktam. So there are these Nataka Sanghas in that Ayodhya city. Sarvataha, so Sarvata, so in that Puri, Ayodhya Puri, everywhere means here and there it's there. So in all places, like we have, if you have to describe in Hyderabad, theaters are Sarvataha, there are theaters. That means it's not that everywhere there are theaters, but very prominently many theaters are there. That's the meaning. Udyanamra Vanopetam Mahatim Salamekhalam. So it has great parks in between. So in the city there are some parks, and those parks are Mahatim. So Mahatim Salamekhalam, or you can say there are many parks, and in those parks there are mango trees, such kind of park. So in Delhi I have seen that even if there is one small residential colony also, in the inside that colony there will be one big park. So for every colony there will be one park. So Ayodhya city is also like that, great parks and things like that. Also in Kolkata, so just outside outside of Eden Garden. So in between the city there will be a lot of green expansive lands. So something like that. Ayodhya also has parks in between them. So those green parks in between. So Mahatim Sala Mekhalam. So there are a row of sala trees. Mekhala literally means the what should I say, the ornament that they tie around the waist. So that Ayodhya city also had these sala trees in a row. It had in it. Then Durga Gambhira Parikham Durgam Anyer Durasadam Vajivarana Sampurnam Gobhirushtrair Kharaistatha. So Durga Gambhira Parikham. So Parikha is, the moat around the fort. They usually build a moat, and then water is kept, and then they say there are these crocodiles and animals like that. So those moats are, they are Durgas, they are insurmountable. You cannot cross them very easily. And then Gambhira, they are very deep, so profound or deep. So Durga Gambhira Parikham. Durgam is Durgam Anye Durasadam. So it is Durga and it is Durasada also. Durga is very difficult to cross. Durasada also very difficult to cross. That's the meaning. So Durgam is, so even for friends of the king, that is, so mitras, so friends, it's difficult to cross. And Anyahi Durasadam. So Anyahi means, so to enemies it is almost impossible to reach there. Even for people who are friendly to the king, even for them it is difficult to cross. Then what to speak about enemies? It is impossible. That's the meaning. So Vajivarana Sampurnam Gobhirushtraih Karaisthatha. So in all over the city you can see animals are roaming around. There are also, you can say, these stables of animals are there. The animals are strategically, they are kept in various places. What kind of animals? So Vaji, Varana, then Go and Ushtra. So Khara. Then Vaji is horse, and Varana is elephant. So horses, elephants, and then cows, camels, donkeys, all these animals are there. So all these animals have, have their own purpose. So so donkeys are used for carrying loads, and horses are used for moving. Elephants are used. So horses, people sit on them and move, or horses carry chariots and things like that. Elephants are used perhaps for construction. It has to move material from here and there. And then cows are used for milk and things like that. So all these animals are useful animals. So they are stored in the stored means they are reared and kept in the city. Then Samantaraja Sanghaischcha Balikarmabhiravritam Nana Desha Nivasaischa Vanikbhirupashobhitam. So Samantarajas, so Dasharatha is a Chakravarti, so there are these Samantarajas. What's the English term? So the subsidiary kings are there. They keep coming to pay taxes to Dasharatha. So if they have to come, those Samanta Rajas also come in chariots. So you can imagine that city is having great traffic of these kings are coming and going. And then Vanik Bhi Rupashobhitam. Vanik is a trader. So Vanik Bhi means traders are also coming and going in the city. So there is a lot of movement in the city. So Valmiki is describing the city. So this Vanik people are coming, Nana Desha Nivasaishcha. They are coming from different cities, different countries even. So these traders from different countries are moving here and there in that city. Samanta Raja Sanghaishcha, Balikarma Bhiravratam. The Samanta Rajas, why did they come to Ayodhya? They have come to pay their taxes. So Bali is tax. So Balikarma Bhiravratam. So they are there. That city of Ayodhya is filled with these Samanta Rajas who are coming to Ayodhya to pay their taxes, and then they pay and they meet the king and go back. Things like that. So in Taittiriya Upanishad, Sarve Esmai Deva Balimavahanti, so that mantra is there. So it seems to that Jnani, to that Upasaka in that context. So all these Devatas come and offer their taxes. So pay their taxes and go. That means all these Devatas means Indriyas there. Indriyas are carrying sensory, what should I say, data, sense, what should I say, objects that jnana they are carrying for the consumption of Sakshi. So Sakshi is the one, consumes, let's say, all this knowledge. So it's as though these devatas, as Indriyas, are paying tax to that Sakshi. So that Dhvani. So that symbolism is there. We will discuss some other time. But symbolism of what is this Ayodhya city and things like that. Who's this Dasharatha and things. So Bali Karma Bhiravrutam. So there are these Samanta Rajas have come to build to pay taxes, and then these Vanik traders are moving here and there with their goods. प्रासादै रत्नविकृतैः पर्वतैरिवशोभितां कूटागारैश्च सम्पूर्णाम् इन्द्रस्येवामरावतीं. So prasadai ratnavikritaihi prasadaihi. Prasadas are dwelling places, buildings in which people stay. So those buildings are ratnavikritaihi. So they are ratna studded here and there on the walls of those buildings. So, and then they are very, very tall. So parvatairi vashobhitam. So these buildings are like parvatas. So this city of Ayodhya is shining, shobhitam, shining with these tall buildings which are dwelling places, houses of people, and those buildings are studded with ratnas here and there. And then Kutagara is sampurnam. So Kutagara is so some kind of a rahasya sthana. So Tikakara is telling Kutagara is Strinam Krida Grihairiti Vyavat. So these women, also, so they want some private spaces in which so they have their own entertainment, pastimes and things like that. So such kind of entertainment places are also there. So they are for women specifically. So such kind of places are also there. Kutagara is Sampurnam. And then how is it shining? So Indrasyeva Amaravatim. So like Amaravati of Indra, this Dasharatha's Ayodhya is also shining like that Amaravati. Amaravati is the capital of Swarga, they say, of Indra's city. Indra stays in Amaravati. So such kind, so it's shining like that. Chitramashtapadakaram Varanari Ganayutam Sarvaratna Samakirnam Vimana Grihashobhitam. So Chitra means variety. You can say different kind of colors of paintings. Like we have Jaipur is pink city. So most of the buildings, at least back then, used to be painted in pink. But this Dasharatha's Ayodhya is painted with different kinds of colors. Chitram, Ashtapadakaram. Ashtapada is this board game called, what is it called? It's called Ludo in English. So that Ludo game, you will see it will be like a cross, like a plus. And then there are spaces in it. There are 4 quadrants. Once you make a cross, then there are 4 quadrants. So it means that there are junctions and crossroads. and each quadrants again there are houses and things like that. So these roads are forming junctions. That's the intention of saying that this Ayodhya city is Ashtapadakaram, like a board game, like a Ludo game. This Ayodhya city is. That means there is these crossroads which are formed by these roads, and then Varanari Ganayutam. So there these very beautiful women are also there in that city. Sarvaratna Samakirnam. So here and there in the city of Ayodhya, it seems all. Um, so just a second. Yeah. So here and there, Sarvaratna Samakirnam on the roads of Ayodhya. So Ratnas are kept, and then people can take. Whoever want can take and go. So they say in Vijayanagara kingdom, it used to be like that. So all Ratnas, gems will be there. They are all dumped in a place, and people who want they can take. So they say gems are given as gratis. When you buy something, so you buy, let's say, 100 rupees worth of vegetables, then you ask her, so why don't you give me some more, give me some dhania extra, or give me some curry leaves in gratis, they say. So kosaru in Telugu they say. So like that, it seems gems used to be given as kosaru in Vijayanagara kingdom as gratis. They used to give, if you buy something, they will give you some gems as gratis. Gems means gemstones. So like that. So this Ayodhya city is also studied. There these gems are dumped here and there, and people can just pick them and go if they want. Then Vimana Graha Shobhitam. So Vimana in the case, so he is quoting, Tikakara is quoting Nighantu. So Vimana, the word Vimana in the case of dwelling places, when you're using the word Vimana in the context of dwelling place, it means 7-floor house. So Vimana Graha Shobhita means 7-floored houses are there in that city of Ayodhya. गृहगाढाम् अविच्छिद्रां समभूमौ निवेशितां शालितण्डुलसम्पूर्णाम् इक्षुकाण्डरसोदकां. So this first half of the shloka is as though he's giving an aerial picture, like if you see from Google Maps or something like that. If you look into Ayodhya, how will it look? So such kind of picture he's giving. So Grihagadham Avichidram. So they're thickly populated with houses. So it's a capital city, so houses are there everywhere. And then it's Avichidram. The houses are very kind of thickly built, that it looks like there is no empty space at all. That means, so the houses are very closely built to each other and things like that. So Samabhumau Niveshitam. So it's looking like, so it is built on a plain kind of land. So there are no ups and downs and things like that in the city. Samabhumau Niveshitam. Shali Tandula Sampurnam Ikshukanda Rasodakam. So Shali Tandula is rice, so rice grains. So there's a lot of plenitude of rice is there in Ayodhya. And then Ikshukanda Rasodakam, the water of Ayodhya is very tasty as sugarcane juice itself. So Ikshukanda Rasa means so the juice of sugarcane, and then Udaka means water. So the waters are as though sugarcane juice. That means it's very sweet. So that's the meaning. Then Dundubhibhir Mridangaischa Veenabhih Panavaistatha Naditam Bhrishamatyartham Prithivyaam Tam Anuttamam. So Naditam, so this sounds of various musical instruments are there in Ayodhya city. So you can hear these sounds of these musical instruments all over the places. That is, so what are those? Dundubhi. Dundubhi is a particular kind of drum. It's a huge drum where people hit on it. So that is Dundubhi. So Mridanga Vino, Dundubhi Bhihi, Mridangaischa, Veena Bhihi, Veenas, and Panavais Tatha. Panava is small kettle drums. So these drums, Veena and things like that. So there is a junction near our close to our house. So it's called Sangeet Chaurasta. So back then there used to be a theater called Sangeet Theater in that junction. So it used to be famous for back then in my childhood. So if you had to watch Hindi or English movies in Hyderabad, that is one prominent place where those movies are screened. So in other places you will find Telugu movies. So that junction got its name because of the theater, Sangeet Junction. It's called Sangeet Chaurasta. That theater is now demolished and something else is built. I think a hospital or something is built. Good for them. But on the junction, at the junction, they kept these huge imitation musical instruments, a huge veena, huge drum, huge violin, and things like that, as a memory that this Chaurasta is called Sangeet Chaurasta. So some kind of musical instrument should be there. So as though Valmiki's Ramayana is an inspiration for them, it looks like, because in Valmiki's Ramayana also in the junctions, you will listen to these kinds of sounds. So there also such kind of imitation instruments are there in that Sangeet Chaurasta. So Naditam. So by these musical instruments, so these musical instruments are being played in that Ayodhya city, and then Pruthivyam Bhrisham Bhrisham Naditam. So very prominently being played, and then Pruthivyam Atyartham Anuttamam. So in this on this earth, this Ayodhya city is Anuttama. Anuttama means it is so there is nothing in comparison to it, there's nothing better than it and things like that. So Bhrisham means it's very kind of extremely incomparable or uniquely incomparable, such kind of city this Ayodhya is. So here you should say, you should connect back with ninth shloka. So matchless, yeah, matchless kind of city. So this Ayodhya, Tam tu Raja Dasharatho Maharashtravardhanaha Purim Avasayamasa. Tam Purim Dasharathaha Avasayamasa. So that Tam, that word Tam is being explained since 9th shloka till here. That such kind of a city, such kind means what? The kind that has been described so far. That kind of a city Dasharatha made as his abode. Now a few more shlokas about the kingdom itself in general. विमानमिव सिद्धानां तपसाधिगतं दिवि सुनिवेशितवेश्मान्तां नरोत्तमसमावृतां सो सिद्धानां तपसाधिगतं vimanamiva divi vimanamiva. So these siddhas, by their tapas they attain swargaloka. So this Ayodhya Nagari is also looking like that swargaloka which is attained by tapas, by these great siddhas. Or vimanamiva, siddhanam divi vimanamiva. So as though this Ayodhya Nagari is like a vimana to those people. Why is it vimana? Vimana means an airplane that carries you from one place to other. So vimanamiva, because Tikakara is telling because it can give you many things, therefore it is vimanamiva. So because it's filled with so many riches, so vimanamiva. I'm trying to locate that. So siddhanam vimanamiva sakala bhishta datri twat tadrisha vimana sadrishitvena. So even vimana will give you whatever you want, it seems like wherever you want to go it will take you and things like that. So therefore this Ayodhya Nagari is also like a vimana. And what kind of vimana? That vimana which is so siddhanam tapasadhigatam divi. So like that swarga loka only this Ayodhya is. So suniveshita veshmantam narottama samavritam. So sushtu niveshito veshmanam antarbahya pradesho yasyam tam. So the courtyards, inner and outer courtyards of houses of people there are sushtu niveshitaha. So they are I hope I am going correct on the meaning, but suniveshita veshmantam is that. So those courtyards, inner and outer courtyards of houses of people is very expansive and things like that. Narottama samavritam. So by great people are there in that Ayodhya city. And then yecha banairna vidhyanti viviktam aparaparam shabda vedhyancha vitatam laghu hasta visharadaha. So the great what should I say, soldiers of Ayodhya Nagari, they are very skilled archers. Laghu hastaha, laghu hasta means very skilled, dexterous they are. So visharadaha, experts in archery, but they don't harm particular kind of people. What are the kinds of people they don't harm? Yecha banair na vidhyanti. So they who so banair na vidhyanti is they who don't fight, I think. So banair na vidhyanti, yeah. So those who have given up arms, so such people they don't hit. So he has given up fight, so they don't attack such persons. And then viviktam is one who having fought in a war, he gives up and starts running away from the battlefield. Such kind of people they don't hurt. And then aparaparam means one who does not have a person before him. That means one who does not have a father or a son. Such kind of people also they don't attack. Why? Because he is the only person remaining in his vamsha. So if they attack him, that vamsha will extinguish. So they don't want that to happen. Or another meaning of aparaparam is a madhyastha, one who is not your shatru, one who is not your mitra. Mitra anyway you don't kill. Shatru also the shatru they will kill, but this aparapara also they will not kill. One who is not a shatru also, one who is not a mitra also, such person also they don't kill. But this aparaparam, this meaning is nice. What is that meaning? So pare pitradayah. Para means fathers and people before you, and apare putradayah. Apara means people who come after you, your sons and grandsons. So one who does not have people before him, so his ancestors, or people after him, his descendants, such a person they don't kill. And then shabda vedhyancha, so they don't kill merely by listening to sound. So Shabdavedhi Vidya, they say. So by just by listening to the sound, you shoot an arrow in that direction and you kill the person. You hit the target nicely. So Dasharatha is supposed to be an expert in that. We will see later in Ayodhya Kanda, Shravana Kumara story. So Shabdavedhya, they don't kill by Shabdavedhi Vidya. Why? Because this person is hiding. So when do you have to hit a target? By listening to the sound. If you are able to see him directly, then you hit him by seeing him, not by listening. You have to listen and hit an arrow at somebody, means that person is hiding somewhere. So they don't hit people who are hiding. That's the meaning. So and then Vitatam, so Shabdavedhyancha Vitatam. So Vitatam is somebody Viruddhya Yuddham Kritva Paschattam Palayati, Palayitam. So Vitatam is that person who, having fought, runs away. So such person they don't hit. And then Viviktam means, so I said instead of giving the meaning for Vitatam, I gave that meaning for Viviktam. Viviktam means one who's deserted. So they have come to attack as a group, but other people have left. This person is remaining. So he's a deserted person in a war. So the deserted person also they don't hit. But then if they are having great skill, they are expert archers, but they are not hitting these people. So whom do they hit at all? So that he is telling in next shloka. Simhavyaghra varahanam mattanam nadatam vane hantaro nishitaish balad bahubalairapi. So these people use their archery. Of course they use their archery in wars and things like that, but they also use their archery to kill these animals which are causing trouble to these wild animals, which sometimes they enter. If the wild animals are too many in the forest, so they say they enter into the city and cause trouble to the people. So such kind of wild animals, they hunt and then kill them. So what are those animals? So Simha, Vyaghra, Varahanam. So Simha is lion, Vyaghra is tiger, and Varaha is the wild forest boar. So Mattanam, Nadatam, Vane. So they are these people are these animals are roaming in the forest with. So they have become very wild. So Mattana means they have become what should I say, arrogant and things like that. So once they are arrogant, means they become very what should I say, crude and things like that. So they harm people. Such kind of animals they hantaraha nishitaihi shastraihi. So with their sharp arrows they kill such kind of animals. And then balad bahubalairapi. So with their power they shoot arrows, and then with their power, with their arm power also, they with their hands also they are able to kill such kind of animals. तादृशानां सहस्रैस्ताम् अभिपूर्णां महारथैः पुरीमावासयामास राजा दशरथस्तदा. So तादृशानां सहस्रैः ताम् अभिपूर्णां. So तादृशानां महारथैः, by such maharathas, great archers, great warriors. Maharatha is a technical term, so Athiratha, Maharatha and things like that. So these by such kind of Maharathis, this Ayodhya Nagari is filled with such. So Sahasraihi. Sahasra literally does not mean thousand. Sahasra means many, countless Maharathis are there in that Ayodhya city. And such kind of city, Tadrish, so that kind of city, Purim Avasayamasa Raja Dasharathastada. That Dasharatha Raja lived in such kind of a Ayodhya Puri, that great, what should I say, inconquerable Ayodhya Puri. He lived there. And then Valmiki is ending, Tam Agnimadbhir Gunavadbhiravratam Dujotamair Veda Shadangaparagaihi Sahasradaihi Satyaratair Mahatmabhihi Maharshi Kalpair Rishibhishcha Kevalaihi. So he is describing the Brahmanas in that city of Ayodhya. So how are there? So Dujotamaihi so Avratam, Dujottamaihi Avratam. So it is filled with these great Brahmanas. What kind of Brahmanas? Agnimadbhihi. So these people, they do their Nityagnihotra. So they have fire. Agnimat means, so Agnimadbhihi means those who have fire. So those who have fire means they do Nityagnihotra. That's the meaning. So these Brahmanas who perform Nityagnihotra. And then Gunavadbhihi, Gunavan. So they are people who are with great Sugunas are there, such kind of Brahmanas. So it's filled with such kind of Brahmanas. So Veda Shadanga Paragaihi. So Veda, so they are what should I say, very well versed, or they have studied the Vedas and the Shadangas of Vedas. What are the Shadangas? So Siksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Chandas, Jyotisha and Nirukta. So Siksha is etymology, Chandas is prosody, Vyakarana is grammar, So nirukta is etymology. Siksha is so what is this? Phonetics. Siksha is phonetics, and nirukta is etymology. So chandas, what is the thing? So siksha, kalpa. Kalpa is so the you can say kalpa is the manual of how to do shastra or yagas and things like that. So they are experts in these Vedas and Vedangas. So such kind of brahmanas. Sahasradaihi, sahasram dadati. So sahasradaha means one who gives in plenty. So sahasrada literally means they give thousands. So thousand means so unginat, many. I mean so countless danams these people do. Such kind of brahmanas. Satyarataihi, they speak only the truth. Then Mahatmabhihi, they are great Mahatmas. Maharshi Kalpaihi, Rishibhishcha Kevalaihi. So they are rishis. So and then Maharshi Kalpaihi. So they are as though great Maharshis, such kind of Brahmanas and rishis are there. That's the meaning. So Rishibhishcha Dvijotamaischa. So these Dvijas, Brahmanas and rishis. So what kind of rishis? So you can take maybe the first line is for those Dvijottamas and second line. So Sahasradaihi also you can take for Brahmanas. And then Satyarataihi, Mahatmabhihi, Maharshi Kalpaihi, Rishibhishcha. So these three you can add for rishis. So there's great rishis and great brahmanas are there in that Ayodhya Puri. Such kind of Ayodhya Puri, this Dasharatha made as his abode. So Ityarshe Srimad Ramayane Valmikiye Adi Kavye Balakande Panchamas Sargaha. So thus we have ended fifth Sarga. So I just want to make one observation. There is a famous maybe not very famous song of Tyagaraja. So he describes the city of Tiruvayar in which he is staying, and then he says, so Muripemu Galige Kada Rama San Muni Nuta Karivarada Sri Rama. So he's just addressing Rama that I'm very happy looking at the city, looking at this village or whatever around me, maybe city. So how is that Tiruvayar? So Ituleni Malaya Marutamuto Ugina Kaveri Tatamandu. So very beautiful breeze is flowing in that Kaveri river. But then the next kind of descriptions is very similar to what, as though Valmiki is inspired by this description of Ayodhya from Valmiki Ramayana. So he's describing that Tiruvayar city also like that. So Medala Middalato Shringara Moluku Sadanamulato. So these very tall buildings are there in that Tiruvayar, and then very beautiful. Shringara Moluku Sadana Mulu means they are very beautiful, attractive to look at. Sadana is the dwelling place, houses. So వేడుచు భూసురు లగ్నిహోత్రులై వేద ఘోషములచే నుతింప చూడ శివుడు కోర యోగ్యమైన సుందరమగు పురము దొరికేననుచు మురిపెము గలిగే కదా రామ. సో వేడుచు భూసురాహ ఆర్ బ్రాహ్మణాస్. సో వేడుచు భూసురులు అగ్నిహోత్రులై, దే ఆర్ నిత్యాగ్నిహోత్రీస్. Veda Ghoshamulache Nutimpa. So they are singing Vedic mantras daily, and so beautiful city that Chuda Shivudu Kora Yogyamaina Sundaramagu Puramu. So even if Shiva looks down from Kailasa at this city, he will say, oh, I want to live in this city. Such kind of beautiful city this Tiruvayar is. And then there is a famous temple of Shiva also in Tiruvayar. So that Shiva in that Tiruvayar temple is called Pranatartihara. So and then the Parvati is called Dharma Samvardhini. So in Tanjavur, that district, Tanjavur, Nagapattinam, those two districts now. So every village has a huge temple. Generally Shiva temple, Vishnu temples are also there. So each temple will have a very nice name for Shiva and Parvati. So that in Tiruvayar, so he's called, Shiva is called Pranatartihara and Parvati is called Dharma Samvardhini. So such kind of beautiful city. That's kind of beautiful Puri that Tiruvayar is, he's saying. So this Ayodhya Nagari is also like, I mean, maybe Tyagaraja was inspired by this description of Ayodhya Nagari. So we have finished 5th Sarga. Then the next session we will take up the 6th Sarga. Om Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritamastakaanjalim Bashpavari Paripurnalochanam Marutim Namata Rakshasantakam. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम. श्री रामार्पणमस्तु. So if you have anything to ask, you can ask, or